Hi from Elderberry Creek Farm. So today we're going to talk about onions and all the healing properties of onions. Now, when you get sick or when you get pneumonia or when you get an ear infection or when you get an upper respiratory infection, usually the first thing most Americans do is we run to the doctor for medication or for antibiotics. And our family tries to avoid that at all costs. But first, before I go into that, I want to say I'm not a doctor. Do not use my advice in place of professional medical opinion. Do seek a doctor if you need one and use your common sense. So with that said, let's talk about the onion. There's a bunch of different things you can do with an onion. The first thing you can do with an onion is you can take a cooked onion and you could do a poultice and use a cooked onion on a boil. So that's the first thing you can do. I'm not going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to show you how to do some other poultices and some other videos, but basically that's what you can do. Cooked onion, wrap it in a piece of fabric like I showed in my potato video, and then you can put that on your boil and it'll help bring it to the surface because onions are drawing. What happens when you cut up an onion? Your nose starts running, your eyes start getting watery, and it draws things out. So onions are good for that. Onions are also antibacterial and antiviral and have antifungal and microbial properties. So another thing that you can do with an onion is you can use it to make a cough syrup. And I know what you're thinking, onion cough syrup, most disgusting thing ever, but my kids actually like it. So let me show you how to do this. Okay, so for an onion cough syrup, all you're gonna need is a fresh onion, and I suggest to buy local honey, the top quality that you can get. So I'm just going to dice up the onion. I'm going to put a layer of onion and then a layer of honey and a layer of onion and a layer of honey. You just keep doing the same thing. And then you're going to let this sit at the long, you want to set it at the longest 24 hours. But you can actually use it sooner than that, and I'll show you on video how it'll actually thin up before we get to the end of the video. So you can use it, start making it up, and when it starts to get a little bit juicy and the honey thins up and it liquefies, then you can start using that. And I would give, the great thing with a onion cough syrup is that I can give it to my kids multiple times a day and not worry about them overdosing or getting too much of something that they shouldn't be getting in a regular store-bought cough syrup. We also use elderberry syrup, but the honey syrup has worked really well. Our daughter was recently sick. She coughed all night long. I gave her the honey syrup, and I also did something else I'm going to show you in a minute that you can do. I'm going to just top it off with honey. Then just cover it. And of course, if you want, you can label it, but you'll be able to obviously see that there's honey and onions in here. Let this sit, and then you would strain this after 24 hours. You can use a teaspoon at a time for children multiple times a day. It's super safe. It's honey. Definitely don't use it on infants because of the concern of botulism in honey, so use caution with that. But you can also use this for adults, and like I said, my kids love it. So onion syrup for coughs and upper respiratory infections is what we do. It's our new favorite thing. I'll show you as time goes on how it loosens up and it gets more liquidy. Right, next thing you can do with an onion for a cough and a upper respiratory infection, what we've done is for an infant, for a small baby, you're not going to want to be able to give them the honey or the onion internally. It's going to be really hard to give it to them. So something that you can do that's safe and not going to be touching the baby is to slice up onion really thinly. I'd slice up a whole onion, but for this purpose, I'm not going to do that. And put it inside of a bowl, just like this. And the onion will draw out and help relieve congestion in the upper respiratory tract and help pull that stuff out from deep within. And so, see if you can make sure that you guys can see this. So this is the onion right here. And just put it near the baby's bed. of course, where they can't reach it because you don't want them to get into it and rub their eyes or anything. Not too close to the bed, but not too far away from the bed. Slice up the whole onion and you can put it next to a newborn's bed. And that's going to help because with newborns, you don't want to give them anything. There's just no medications you can give a newborn. And so this is an easy way to help clear up a cough. Another way to clear up a cough for infants and for small children and even for adults is dice up an onion, just like this. And what you're going to do is, it's going to be kind of like a poultice, but not quite. This will probably be just enough. For, say, a toddler, 3 years old, you're going to use about a tablespoon of onion. For an adult, you're going to use a little bit more. I'm going to have a baggie, which, like I've said before, I don't like plastic, but sometimes it just makes it easier. For an adult, I'll show you how to, I'm going to put in about 2 or 3 tablespoons of onion for me. And then I'm going to show you what I do with this and how I can help my cough at night. Okay. So I have my baggie, and this is going to be used on an adult. I have about 2 to 3 tablespoons of diced or chopped onions. And I'm going to put this on my feet. Now I know, crazy, so get in bed, get all your supplies ready, have your baggie ready, have your socks ready, and then you're going to sleep all night long with this on each foot. So you're going to just put your foot in the baggie and then put your sock on. Now the great thing with this is that you can use this for infants, you can use this for toddlers, children, and adults, and what this is going to do is the same thing that the cough syrup that we made earlier and the onion in the bowl, that all the different ways that you use the onion can help loosen the cough, loosen the congestion. And so we did this with our kids, and it really does help tone down their cough in the middle of the night. Then in the morning, you take it off, of course, wash off your feet because you're going to smell like onions, and then you just get on with your day. But you can keep using the onion syrup during the day. And make sure that you do both feet, not just one foot. So the last thing I'm going to show you to use, as you can see, onions are helping with all the upper respiratory type things. And that goes with your sinuses, your upper lungs, and also for ear infections. So right here I have a baked onion. And what I'm going to do, and this is going to be hot, so I baked it at 350 for about 45 minutes. And I'm going to use a serrated knife and a pot holder or something really thick. And we're going to slice this onion. It's going to be pretty soft because I cooked it for quite a while. You can take this cooked onion and take a spoonful of the juice. You can take a spoonful of the juice, and it's going to be hot. Squeeze it into this. You can take a spoonful of the juice and squeeze it into, try to keep this from all falling apart. Squeeze it, and then you can put some of the juice in your ear, as long as you don't have a ruptured eardrum. We've done this. Then you've got your onion, it's all right here, and I'm going to wrap it up. Let me show you, in a towel, like this. You're going to pat it up as much as you can, and this is really hot. I mean, it's feeling really, really hot from here, so you need to be careful not to burn yourself or burn your child. You're going to wrap this up as much as you can. The flat part is what's going to go on your ear. So right now, this is still pretty hot, so you may want to even put more fabric. So you're just going to have to go to touch. So if you need to wrap it again, wrap it again. But the key is to keep the onion warm as long as possible. And that's going to help draw out an ear infection. And then let me show you what you're going to do once you get this all wrapped up and it's all nice and warm. So I have my halved onion in here. It's pretty warm feeling it. So you've just got to make sure that you're not going to burn yourself or burn a child with this. And then you're going to take the poultice, put it on your ear. Now, if you've got a child and they've got an earache, and it is so painful and it hurts so bad that even if you give them Tylenol or ibuprofen, it still takes a good 45 minutes to an hour to get pain relief. I know you've got to cook the onion, but once you get it nice and warm, you'll put the onion on the ear, And you can lay the child down on your lap to where they'll feel the heat. And like I said, this is still pretty hot, so I probably need to put another layer or two on. Or you can take a beanie and put that over your head or the child's head. And if you've got each ear, say you've got a double ear infection, you could put each half on each ear and then put a beanie on top to hold it in. And then just be checking in with your child to make sure that it's not too hot. Because right now, this is too hot on my ear. It's really, really warm. So just be watching out. Be really, really cautious about the heat. And you can use this multiple times a day until an ear infection clears up. And sometimes we can get rid of an ear infection in 1 or 2 doses. And sometimes it takes days if you've got a really stubborn ear infection. In our household, we do not use antibiotics for ear infections. We don't believe that they work for ear infections. My husband's a registered nurse. He doesn't believe that they work for ear infections. And in Europe, they do not prescribe antibiotics for ear infections. It's just the way it is. The United States is one of the rare places that prescribes antibiotics for ear infections. And usually by the time an antibiotic would work, the ear infection is already clearing up on its own. So all the things that we did today with the onion was, the first thing we did was we made the onion cough syrup. And as you can see, it's already really, really juicy. All the good healing properties are going into the onion, and it's only been probably 30 minutes since I started this. So if you wanted to right now, if you had a sick person, you could just skim the honey off the top and just give a spoonful to your child or to yourself. That's what we do. Now this will store in the fridge indefinitely. Our little poultice on our feet with the sock over it that you can use on children and adults to help clear up and break up the mucus. And you can also use all of these remedies for people with bronchitis and pneumonia, which I know pneumonia, they say the only way to treat it is with antibiotics, but people have survived and treated it on their own. But use your common sense. And then onion sliced up in a bowl. Use this next to your infant when you can't give them cough syrups, homemade cough syrups, or when you can't get them to put things on their feet and stuff like that. So a bowl of onion slice next to the bed to help break everything up. And I think that's everything. So thanks for listening today. Always make sure you've got extra onions in the cabinet during cold and flu season. And let us know how these remedies help for your family. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. So you need to seek medical advice when you have any issues and use your common sense. Thanks so much. Please subscribe to our channel. Please check out our Facebook and our Instagram. And we'll see you next week on our next Poultice, which is going to be on ginger. Thanks so much. Bye. I treated for one of my kids. I did the Poultice overnight, and then the next day I took the, okay, I've got a little bit too much plastic here to deal with. The next day I took it off, and you could tell that the splinter was actually coming out.